The all-new Volkswagen Tiguan, it's slightly taller, longer, wider than before. It's also smarter. But what does all that mean in the real world? Well, it's time to find out with the first New Zealand drive. Welcome to the garage. Subscribe to see the first drives of New Zealand's newest and best cars driven on New Zealand roads in New Zealand conditions. The Tiguan. This is Volkswagen's darling, and no wonder. This is the most popular VW, not just in New Zealand, but in the world. And it's the car that took everything that made the Golf the standard setter and turned it into, well, an SUV. You know, that special ability to be flash, but not too flashy, to be practical, but still stylish. There still is some flash at play, like the front light strip, the 3D tail lights, and every Tiguan comes with LED headlamps. But overall, it's a softer, less edgy look, styled with a touch of the new Golf, and there's plenty of the Touareg in there as well, including the big letter treatment. And that's the perfect time to mention the name, Tiguan. You see, it's a mix of a tiger and iguana. Look, I know it's a bit dad jokey, but you gotta love an Easter egg. Only two engines right now. There's 110 kilowatt 1.4 litre turbo 4, while the all-wheel drive gets a 2 litre producing 195 kilowatts and 400 newtons. You know, I mentioned the Golf earlier. That set the standard in its category. The Tiguan, though, arrived into a fully formed category, the family SUV. Not too small, not too big, the middle, the Goldilocks, like I described it as earlier. And what a competitive category. The RAV4, the CRV Sportage X-Trail. Gosh, I could name the list. It could go on for hours. It is the most competitive class in the automotive world. But this new Tiguan has a bigger boot than pretty much all of the competition, and by a decent amount, 652 litres, and with the rear seats down, 1600 litres, and look, they fold 3 ways. It will also tow 1.8 tonnes. If you go for the all-wheel drive, 2.3. So plenty of room for your staff or your passengers. I'm talking 5 adults in here. That front seat is set for my 1.83 m frame. As you can see, there is plenty of room and plenty of headroom as well. There's also those SUV important touches. You've got a couple of USB phone chargers. There's storage in the seat for your phone. Now, we know in an SUV that sort of thing is as important as the seat belts. Now, I do realise until now all I've talked about is the Tiggy taking a step forward in every direction. But when you get in the driver's seat and you look at what's in front of you, it's a giant leap, a giant digital leap forward. The two-wheel drive versions get this 12.9-inch infotainment display. If you go for the all-wheel drive, it's the big screen, 15 inches. In front of you, a 10.3-inch driver display is the same in all versions. Now, I should mention the operating system on the touchscreens is straightforward and it's quick. Now, it's not all controlled by the touchscreen. There's still slide controls for some climate control functions. Should mention also 2 dual wireless phone chargers. You know, for all the talk of leaps forward, it's actually a bit of a little step back that gives me the most pleasure, especially when I hold the steering wheel and my thumbs touch actual tactile buttons on the spokes. Those hapless haptics are gone. Thank you, Volkswagen. Now, I mentioned earlier the 2 engines. That's a bit of an old school touch too, just internal combustion, no plugs or hybrid powertrains, just punchy turbo engines combined with 7-speed DSG gearboxes. But there is an EV flavour to the gear selector. This car's got a whole Zen mode. The front seats have massage function, and then you can set the right mood with a whole range of different ambient lighting functions. Now, the Tiguan's considered a family car, so safety is important. So it's probably no surprise it's absolutely loaded with safety features. Yeah, it's a proper force field in this car. There's the likes of dynamic road sign display, oncoming vehicle braking, and pedestrian and cyclist monitoring. Now, the last Tiguan came in 5 different flavours, including the delightfully bonkers R version. For now, the all-new Tiguan just comes in this pared-down 3-car range. Prices start at $54,990 for the two-wheel drive Life, up to the R-Line all-wheel drive at $79,490. And then there's the car I'm driving now, if you like. This is the Goldilocks version of the Goldilocks car, the R-Line two-wheel drive at $61,490. Now on this car there is an option of a $6,000 touring pack that adds heated and cooled leather seats, Harman Kardon audio and a panoramic sunroof. Official fuel consumption from the 1.4 engine is 8.5 litres per 100, 8.6 if you go for that GTI powered all-wheel drive version. You know, the Tiguan's always been a nice drive and that hasn't changed. In fact, it's improved. And I know the all-wheel drive model comes with dynamic chassis control, but you know what, left alone, it's pretty damn impressive and a big improvement on before. Yeah, this is no wallowy SUV. And another thing that deserves mention along with that is the steering. It's beautifully weighted. It's got a nice amount of feel, which is not always the case when you drive some of these soft-roading SUVs. I use that term pleasantly surprised, but the truth is I sort of expected this to be a good car. I've been driving Tiguans for over a decade now. I've never been disappointed by them. But I genuinely didn't expect to be this impressed with how the car drives. The all-new Tiguan is not just grown in size, it's grown up. The combination of style, quality, space and drivability makes this feel more like a smaller Touareg, which means it really does stand out and stand above the competition. Okay, look, I like the drive, but the truth is I'd still go for the 195 kilowatt all-wheel drive version. I just want the performance and it's the GTI engine, but this is an R-Line. It's got all the gear, and the truth is this car is hard to fault on pretty much every level. But you know what I was thinking? This, as you know, stands for the people's car. This, though, stands for everybody's SUV.